Hey everybody, for the first time in 20 years, there are some major changes at the FHFA that's going to affect all home buyers. Now, what am I talking about? The FHFA, try to say that 10 times fast, is the quasi-governmental institution, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, that provides the majority of loans for mortgages for people who are getting mortgages and buying homes. They've recently changed, again, for the first time in 20 years, how they're going to review and view credit. We have Drew Smith, co-founder of Trinity Solutions, who is an expert in the credit realm. So we're gonna ask him a few questions. So Drew, hope you're doing well today.
Doing great.
So your first question: these changes in the scoring model that FICO, or I should say that the FHFA is putting into place, I'm going to say Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. That's a lot easier. But
Let's
these
stick with that.
changes that they're putting into place, what is it going to mean for home buyers?
Okay. Depends on where in the spectrum that you are. Okay. The reason why they brought these out were because they were trying to open up to make the lower barriers to entry, I should say, to certain groups that they would consider unrepresented. I'll just say or lower represented by allowing more untraditional credit plans to be able to place on the credit report. Okay, such as we're going to open up rental history. We're going to open up telecom things such as cell phone bills, things along those lines that typically don't play into a standard older FICO model.
Okay.
How will that help us? Well, typically, the Latino, the African American markets are more rental based. It's less ownership in that area. They're saying, well, we're going to do this to give more positive points that can fall into the credit reports to help raise the scores and get more people open and active and being able to buy. All right, that's true. There also are some other methods, as you as a lender, you know, typically in the old school formats, you needed to have all three credit bureaus, the TransUnion, Experian, Trans, they all had to post it to a certain level. Now they're giving you the opportunity to pick and choose two. So you can give us your best two. Yeah. So if you have something that's a little bit negative on your Equifax, okay, we're just going to use the other two and we'll still be able to push the loans through. All right. These are all positive things. Should they result in more people being able to buy? Certainly, I get where they're going with it, but there's no free lunch. So, you know, there are also things whenever they're changing the algorithm on how you're making a new credit report, specifically after doing it for 20 years in the same way, you got to kind of know what the changes are so that you can make sure that you can take advantage of those changes. Maybe that goes to another question, but I can obviously.
It actually goes to another question because we were told, and this is from Fair Isaac Corporation itself, compared to the prior version of the FICO scores used by enterprises today, the FICO Score 10T can enable an increase in mortgage originations up to 5% without taking on additional credit risk. So yeah, so you're saying it's a give and a take. How can we increase originations by 5% and not have any more risk? What are your thoughts on that comment?
Well, how you can get more originations without any more risk is, well, you got to know how the game is being played. I'm going to give you the rule book to it right now. Again, if we're all athletes here, or if you were, you're not going to be able to succeed playing a game if you don't know the rules. Here's the rules in their algorithm. When you said 10T, that T is really important. That's the biggest part of it. The T stands for trending, or trended, I should say, trended data. That's the big difference between the 10T model and the FICO 2s and the FICO 5s that we're used to dealing with. The old ones were basically just a snapshot in time, okay? Clients would come in, their credit card utilization might have been massively high. We tell them, listen, if you need to get an extra 50 points, 100 points, whatever it is, you know what you do? Pay down your card balance. We'll see you in 30 days. We take another snapshot. You look like a rock star. Go buy your home. That's been the way since my hair was not gray. Now, the difference is that T for trending, they're able to look back up to 24 months on your history. And they're looking to see where your balances are trending. Are your balances statistically high? Then all of a sudden you got some money from Aunt Susan, you paid all your bills down and now they're down on the floor. but now they're trending back up because you're running the cards back up again. That's your trend.
So it
Or
sounds like this is going to be problematic for people who maybe had poor to mediocre credit, try to make a short-term fix.
Mhm.
It's going to catch
Exactly.
them. They're going to be caught out there because the 10T model is going to say, we see what you did the last 60 days, but we really see what you did for the last 24 months. Like, hey, I know what you did last summer.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. So that's why I say there's a give and there's a take. If you have a strong profile right now, strong FICO profile, odds are your score has a good shot at going up because you've been doing the right things for a long period of time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a statistically, well, if you have a low FICO score now, well, it's because you haven't been doing the right things for a bit. Your scores, odds are, be prepared, guys, is probably going to drop some. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get around it? Well, you got to make sure that you're doing the right things. Okay. Now, at the absolute bottom of the scale are the people that have no scores. All right. And guess what? You're not going to be affected. Matter of fact, you might see a lift because now you're going to see those extra items be able to be placed on your credit report. So that's a plus there. But as usual, we've got the people that are in the middle. They may feel the brunt of it. So there's ways that you can, you know, minimize that effect. And we're talking maybe 20 points. We're not talking falling off the cliff, but every point's valuable, especially when we're chasing rates like that we are now.
Gotcha. Now, what are these different scores? Because they say the FICO score 10T, but there's FICO Model 5, FICO Model 8, and people come with Vantage scores, which previously the FHFA did not look at all, but now that's like Credit Karma, I know, uses Vantage. Am I correct? So
Correct.
what do all these scores mean? What does the consumer need to understand about all these different scores, if anything?
Okay. Well, first off, Credit Karma uses Vantage 3.0. Throw that entirely out the window.
Okay.
It lies to you every day.
Okay.
um, all the models are your credit report. Just think of it as a box with all of your information that you've ever done or for the past X amount of years. That box of your information is your box. That's it. All the different models use that same information that's in the box. They just weigh the items in there differently. Okay. That's really the only difference. FICO 2 and FICO 5 are primarily for homes. They weigh a certain thing differently. Vantage score takes that exact same information and really emphasizes on utilization. FICO 8 does the same. All right. So every little thing in there, the information is the information. I tell people, don't worry about it. Just know what you're trying to do. If you're trying to get a house, we know we have to do this, and focus on just making sure that your information in the box is the most important thing. Just make sure your box is right. Your scores will go where they need to be.
Okay.
Okay.
Now we know statistically that the average Black millennial has a FICO score about 100 points lower than the average white millennial.
Okay.
Statistically speaking, now you nodded, you went your head. Is that?
I didn't see the stats.
Huh?
I didn't see the stats, but I know my clientele base, so I can agree with that. And it's the good thing about it though is it's basically a lack of knowledge. Knowledge is the easiest thing to fix. I love people coming. I have walk-ins. I'm starting to get a little bit known. People see me to start a conversation. You can open someone's eyes and lay out the glide plan in a half-hour conversation. And they say, oh, I didn't know that. I see a bunch of people that are, it's ridiculous. I went and I got a credit card. I saw it on Credit Karma. I clicked it. I got it. I make my payments every month. I'm doing great. Why isn't my score going anywhere? All right, let's see what you got. Oh, you clicked, you got the $300 credit card. Okay. You got $250 on it. Oh, all right. Yeah, but I've been making my minimum payment every month to show them I can pay. No, you killed yourself. And then you have to let them know, well, here's the rules of the game. I wish that came along with the credit card offer. Okay, but it doesn't, unfortunately. Keep your utilization under 10%. Make your payments on time. The rules are the rules, whether it's FICO 10T, 11T, 50T. The rules are always going to be the same, but you have to know what they are. Knowledge is the biggest thing that creates that gap, all right? Because no one told me, I just was glorious and I found out in the world. I'm making sure I teach my kids. So my kids aren't going to have that problem. All right. So it's like each one has to teach one. That's how the knowledge gets out. So that'll hopefully that gap closes as quickly as humanly possible. So.
Perfect. So just in summary, what would you say that these changes, what does the consumer need to know? How does it impact the consumer? What would you say is a summary of this concept, these ideas, and these changes from your perspective as a credit professional?
All right. Now that we know that we're playing with 10T moving forward, everybody, the goal is it's all about the trend. All right. The basic rules stay the same. Whatever I told you last month stays the same. Keep your credit utilization under, as close to 10% as possible. Okay. Make sure every bill you have is on auto pay. But what if I miss it? I don't care. The $30 NSF fee that you're going to get is way better than the 60-point drop in utilization that you're going to have by missing a payment.
That's an excellent point. I tell people to do it on auto pay, but I never thought about that. The $30 penalty for NSF.
It's a must.
Yeah.
10T is far more stricter than 5 and 8 was. So if you were on it before, you definitely have to drill it into the head now. Definitely do not miss a payment. Since it's about the trend, make sure you're lowering your balances. They don't want to see. You're going to get penalized if your balances are slowly creeping up. Keep them the same, make them a little bit lower. It's vital that you know when your statement dates are now, guys. This credit is a game. Your statement date is when your credit cards report to the credit bureaus. If you are in a situation where the money may not be the greatest, I know I'm going to have to lean on this credit card. Well, if you know that on the 15th is its reporting date, you might want to put a little bit of a balance or knock that balance down before then. Let it report at 0. Then if you have to use the card during the month, that's fine. It's already reported that it's at 0. Okay. That's a little bit of a varsity level conversation, but we can have the conversation.
Yeah.
But whatever you have to do to make sure that it's showing a declining balance is going to help you. Okay. Something else. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this kind of ties into this. Here are some folks that might get hurt with this, so you got to watch out for this. A lot of people all last year was about doing what? Everybody was refinancing. Let's pull the money out of the house. Let's pull the money out of the house. Guys, you pulled the money out of the house, and a lot of you paid off your credit cards. Super. Awesome. That's what you were supposed to do. Don't do this. Please. Please watch the trend. Please don't let those cards start racking up now, because that's the trend that they're looking for. They're going to watch how you've done it. All right.
Excellent. I got a bonus question then. This is I just thought of this. I've heard it said, and tell me this is true, that most people's credit drop in January because of increased utilization around the holidays of credit cards. Is that true?
Of course. Yep.
Okay.
I get that call all the time, and I got to go back to my beginning conversation. Everybody, remember, it's about your utilization. You bought the PS5 and the whatever it is you bought. Now let's make sure you pay it off before it posts to your credit report. So as we come to the holidays, that's something huge. Yes, definitely, guys, think about that before you do your holiday travel. Before you go, put all those gifts under the tree. Understand there's a bigger picture at foot, and watch out. You've got goals you're trying to hit.
Excellent. So we have Mr. Drew Smith of Trinity Solutions. Thank you very much for your time, sir. Much appreciated. And
no problem.
Be well.
I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you, man.